Disclaimer. This podcast is not intended to hate on the romance genre as a whole. The style of book is not exclusive to romance, but has been popularized in recent years. This podcast is solely for fun. We are not trying to prevent people from reading these books, nor are we passing judgment on those who enjoy them.
Our comments on this book aren't a reflection of the author's skill. We recognize that many people do not have the discipline or courage to write and publish a novel, so that is something that deserves respect in and of itself. Hi, I'm Adi.
Hi, I'm Gabby.
Welcome to the first episode of Worst of the Worst. Another disclaimer. We read this book like 3 weeks ago. I don't remember a damn thing. So Gabby has all the notes and will be leading this, and I'll just be providing commentary.
Yeah, because unfortunately, I remember every minute of this book.
I'm sorry.
It's okay. It's okay. As somebody who does this on my own time as well as with you,
That's crazy.
it's not that bad. It's not that bad.
Putting in overtime for no reason.
Yeah, kind of. Well, the people need to know. The people as in like five people who I tell.
No, exactly. Yeah. What I do remember though is that the Library of Alexandria, when they burnt it, this book should have been in it.
Yeah, no, honestly, I agree.
A space princess with a chastity belt falls in love with a cyborg that can't feel. Or can he? On this episode of Worst of the Worst.
Trigger warnings. So there were a few, but the ones that stuck out the most were definitely implications of sexual abuse, aggressive verbal misogyny, and brief attempted rape. So we shouldn't go into too much detail, but in case one of those issues is triggering to you, I would turn it off now. So starting with the not one but two author notes.
Oh, I forgot about that.
So in author note one, we hear that this book is kind of inspired by Bridgerton.
Yeah, you know what? Actually, like looking back, that makes a lot of sense.
It
Kind of.
does.
But I remember being so fucking confused.
I remember getting the text from you that was just like Bridgerton.
Also, I've never
The
seen Bridgerton, so maybe, well, I have part of it, but I've never like seen enough of it. So maybe it is like this. I don't know.
I've seen the first season a couple times and I've also read the first book, and it does kind of make sense that it's inspired by that, but only because of the like keeping the female main character like super pure and
Hmm.
like she has no idea what sex is.
Oh, I didn't know that was going on in Bridgerton. I had no idea that was happening.
But author note 2 was very interesting in a different perspective.
Was Author
Um,
Note 2 the one about COVID?
the one about vaccinations, yes.
Yeah, what?
Yeah, like that couldn't have been a tweet.
No, like,
So author note 2 was basically the author being like, so I've gotten a couple questions about my vaccination status, and this is in no way meant to be like political, but me and my husband and our son, I think she said, are all vaccinated, and it's actually been going great. We haven't had any problems. And I was just like I'm congratulations. Glad you're vaccinated. Very important. I'm glad you vaccinated your child as well and before sending them back to school. But why did we need to know that in the beginning of this book?
my note says, girl, get a blog, crying emoji. She's 48. Is she actually 48 or was I just saying random shit?
Honestly, that was probably just you.
Oh.
Hold on. We could do a Google search. She's 41.
Oh, I was pretty
Oh,
close.
wait, no. Is that
Oh.
her? Who knows?
Well, too old, basically, is what I'm trying to
Yeah,
say.
too old to be
Also,
telling us that.
too old to be like how greedy do you have to be to have two authors' notes? Like,
Also, I feel like author's notes, okay, maybe this is just me, but like 98% of the time when I read a book, they're at the end.
that's true, yeah, like the acknowledgments and stuff.
Yeah.
Did she even have acknowledgments? Did she even say thank you, or was this just greed?
No, I think it was just greed.
Hmm.
After the two author's notes, we meet James and he gets his assignment. When we first meet James, he is called J8, which I thought was a choice.
I think that's a good cyborg name.
I mean, you could be a little bit more creative.
I mean, it's like, but it's like, maybe there are only eight of him.
Yeah, maybe. He was like made. He wasn't born. It's very odd. I don't even know. Like I think they tr like she tried to like have like this backstory for him, but like it really didn't matter
Well, I
because
don't remember it.
all you need to know is that he doesn't have feelings.
Oh yeah, he like has zero, absolutely none emotion, zero, zero, zero. Like this man has never cried. This man has never loved. This man has never felt happy. This man has never felt joy.
Yeah.
Zero emotions.
So on his home planet, it's actually illegal to have emotions. They're
Mhm.
considered feel crimes.
Of
And
course.
so they've implanted these emotion dampers into all of the men that live there because there's actually no females on his home planet
I actually didn't know that anymore. That
anymore.
explains why he was like low key fiending.
No, yeah, like I get it a little bit,
Yeah, I
but
mean, I do recall like there was like a tavern or not like a brothel.
yes,
Yeah. So
yes.
are these women
It's
being
a
like, imported?
no, it's a
Oh.
puppet house.
Oh.
It's a puppet brothel.
Just a whole bunch of like socks in there, or, like what's
Actually, a lot happens in chapter one, or you learn a lot in chapter one. There's mates, there's heat cycles. They have these language implants, which makes it so where he can read something once and then he automatically knows the language. I don't know if you've heard of the other series, Ice Planet Barbarians,
no.
but for a good chunk of that book, the main characters cannot talk to each other because they don't speak the same language. And
Hmm.
I think they would have benefited from this language implant. I
Oh, that's
think Ruby Dixon and Evangeline Anderson should kind of collaborate on that.
true. Collab and Ruby
Yeah.
Dixon. They should get one author's note each.
No, two for both of them.
Oh, okay, yeah, yeah,
Or
yeah, yeah.
one each in the beginning and then one each at the end.
Oh, that's perfect.
Not my only hate on chapter one, but one of the biggest ones was the fact that in Bridgerton, obviously, there's Lady Whistledown, and they changed her name in this to Lady Tittle Tattle.
I actually like that. That was one of my favorite names, to be honest.
I thought it was so disrespectful to Lady
Oh.
Whistledown. Also, we find out we haven't met the female main character yet, but we do find out that her parents are dead. Both of
Yeah.
her parents are dead. She has dead parents, and we will hear about her mother dying several times throughout this book. And she dies in a very specific way, which is burning to death in the middle of a ball. So the reason she's burned to death is because her bloodline has this thing called fire blood, and basically when they go through their heat cycles, it means it's a literal heat cycle. Like they literally heat up, their blood boils, and if it's not, what is the word? Slaked?
Oh.
Yeah.
No, no, the memories are coming back.
They will literally burn and die. But we do get to see a little bit more of James. He is supposed to go get his emotion damper checked before he leaves because for some reason he's having these feelings.
I also have in my notes here that James has night vision, is cold-blooded like a reptile, and has perfect pitch.
Yes. He's he is part reptile, and they're not only just regular reptiles, they're singing reptiles. And
Oh,
which I can only just count all of my blessings that we didn't have a singing part in this
so he
book.
should have sang.
No, no, he shouldn't have.
Nothing
Nothing's
bad.
worse than reading a book and then all of a sudden the male love interest starts to sing.
Do people actually sing in books because of that? You can't hear it.
No, yeah, they do.
Oh, I was imagining one of those like cards that with the pop-ups in the middle with the little singing. You get to page like 158, it starts doing that to you.
Oh, that would be horrible. We
Oh,
should make
that's
that we
funny.
should make it happen.
We should make it happen.
There was what, 50 something chapters in this book?
I have 57. Yep.
Oh wait, no, there's 62.
Oh, so I just gave up.
I think you did, which honestly, probably from 57 to 62, the same thing happens. So, chapter three, we ended up meeting Carissa and her biggest hater, Lady Mildew.
First, well, before we get to Lady Mildew's crazy ass, okay, my thing with this book is that it is such a specific set of kinks that I don't think work well together, and I'm so confused on what's going through Madame Anderson's head.
Madam
Carissa is thick teeth.
Antique.
She's apparently incredibly voluptuous.
But she's also very small. And
Um,
the thing is like she made James like 400 feet tall. Like it feels like she's both like thick and just like tiny. It's like she couldn't make up her mind what
no,
she
yeah,
wanted.
like it just feels like she's like kink maxing, which is like
Yeah.
it's like okay, listen, there are this tweet going around right now, and it's like cinnamon cake with buttercream frosting with raspberry sprinkles with like fig filling, and everyone's like, "What the fuck? Like, what the fuck would this cake taste like?" That's how I feel about Burning for Love. Like, is every kink you could imagine? It's kinks being kink that have never been kink before in this book.
We immediately learn that Carissa is in her heat cycle, and the way she describes her own body is very uncomfortable for
No, it's
me
like
as a
it's
listener.
scary.
It's actually scary. It's like, so her nipples they're not nipples, they're points.
Mm-hmm.
And they're apparently very hot, and they're like red, but like they're so red that you can like see it through her outfits.
Yeah, it's like Katy Perry, kind of like old Katy Perry.
Oh my God,
What
yeah.
I was imagining, yeah, like thick ass Katy Perry.
Was 5'8" and 5'3" at the same time.
Yeah, yeah.
And then also, we hear about her nether lip, and you will hear this phrase every other page.
Yeah.
And it's awful every single time you hear it. We hear about her nether lips when we find out about her chastity wire.
Yeah, this is when we can get into crazy ass Lady Mildew. So, Lady Mildew, to my understanding, correct me if I'm wrong because you're the, expert here, uh, is like not exactly her maid, but her like caretaker kind of.
Yeah, she's like her lady's assistant or
Yeah,
whatever they used
yeah.
to be
So, like
called.
bathes her, takes off her clothes, and then gives her sex ed, which comprises exclusively of calling her quote unquote like a dirty nasty girl.
Yes. One thing that I personally thought about the chastity wire, which is just so it's not important, but it like was the first question that came up in my head was how does she use the restroom?
Yes, like
Because
what?
she's not allowed, so the chastity wire will shock her if she places her hand in between her legs. And so like if she's using the restroom, how does she wipe?
She does it. It's just crazy, crazy UTIs.
Crazy UTIs or a bidet, which they did not have.
Oh, they definitely. I mean, they don't even have like any phones, but they definitely existed before phones. Like, bro, that was the most like that was the most like stupid young person thing I think I've ever said in my life.
So basically, Carissa, since she knows absolutely nothing, she thinks that you get pregnant by kissing someone on the mouth. But not just like kissing, it has to be with tongue.
Yeah, it has to be with tongue. Low key though, like I stand by her. Like I mean, like not absolutely, but I get it. Like if you don't know anything about, I feel like I thought that at one point.
Oh yeah, like if you're a child and you know nothing about sex or like your body or like even like a menstrual cycle or anything like that, like of course you're gonna think like, oh, kissing because it's bad and like cooties and all this stuff, right?
Hmm.
But she's like well within her 20s.
Oh, I didn't know. I was about to ask how old is she? I didn't even know that.
She's like, I want to say she's like 22, 23.
Oh, that's crazy.
It's the way they use like in the first chapter we hear about all of these things, the heat cycles, the mates, the emotion dampers. He's brooding and he feels nothing. And then she's just this like petite, thick, small woman who knows nothing about sex, right? It's like you're giving me everything all at once.
Right, everywhere.
All at once.
No, it's like yeah. I mean, even the way you just described it was like really weirdly male gazy. Carissa is the embodiment of the boring, sexy yesterday trope, but like
Mhm.
it's weirdly self-inflicted on behalf of Evangeline Anderson because we're supposed
Yeah.
to like connect with her, right?
I feel like we are.
But like, what the fuck? Like, I know shit. Like, I don't want to. I don't want. She's stupid. I don't want to connect with her. I mean, not to kink shame, I suppose, but I've never been like me with no thoughts in my head.
Me when I don't know anything at all.
No, like, I'm so unaware.
If I have to hear Lady Mildew or Heat again, I'm gonna kill myself.
Heat was bad.
Heat was bad.
Like
And
Lady Mildew
we
was like not Lady Mildew was decent enough where I like didn't even remember her name until you said it. Heat though was like I like the what's the basketball team? I can't ever hear that again.
Heat, but it's not only heat, it's the slaking of the heat.
Oh, the slaking of the heat.
And it's every chapter.
No, yeah. I mean, I don't know. You didn't listen to the audiobook, right?
No, I did.
Oh, I'm sorry. But yeah,
Yeah.
every few lines it would be like, and he was gonna slake my heat. Why must you say it like that?
Yeah, every chapter was, and I can't touch my nether lips.
That's the one thing I stand by her. She may be stupid, but that is real, bruh. If nobody slakes her heat, you will burn, barring if you're asexual. Like that's real. Like,
So when we get to chapter 4, that's when they like face to face they meet. She finds out that he's going to protect her. There was some sort of attempted assassination.
I don't think we ever learn why either.
Yeah, you don't learn why, and I'm pretty sure you don't know who it is.
No,
Unless I just missed that, which is
no,
possible.
I didn't. I wouldn't have missed it.
Yeah, I definitely would have, but Adi would not have.
Yeah, exactly.
Like I would have been like, "Oh my God, really?" So, this gigantic, huge cyborg because he's from a different planet. And he also, along with everything else he has, well, except for emotions, because he does not have those.
No, no, remember that. None of those.
He has a photographic memory. So James is obviously he's not human, but like I feel like she went overboard on the fact that like he's different. He's immune to like heat, because he can cool his body down with
Oh
his
yeah,
lizard DNA.
need that.
The singing lizards,
Wait, but
sorry.
I thought lizards. I could have sworn that.
Adi,
What?
go ahead.
I could have sworn that lizards like they adjust really easily. Like cold-blooded doesn't mean that you can cool down. It means that it's hard for you to cool down. So it's like Madam Anderson didn't even do her reptilian research.
But yeah, that's the reasoning that she gives. Apparently, that's not true.
Okay.
But yeah, he's this super awesome cyborg lizard
Yeah, he's
who
like the
feels
awesome.
nothing. I also just have take a shot every time they mention she's a virgin, and then in parentheses it says you'll black out because you will hear that. Like I said, everything happens over and over and over again. Like it's the same dialogue, the same like conflict, just repeated this entire book. It to me, it felt like the steward was behind everything. Like he
Can
was
I be
behind the
honest?
assassin. Go ahead.
My like dumbass did not catch that.
It felt to me like he was behind it all.
Like I didn't you the fact that you're saying this chapter 4 like I'm low key like I think you're a genius right now.
Oh my gosh. So the whole thing with the steward is basically take over the crown until Carissa is of age to where she can be wed and then have her husband become king, right? So it just seemed to make sense to me that the man who is acting as king would not want somebody to take that power away from him.
I think that makes a lot of sense. I just it's 2025. Like I'm just so like to me just the idea of like monarchy and such is so distant.
No,
It's
like
not my culture.
you also find out about her passing on like two of the other like selected candidates and for her hand or whatever because she can't pick her own husband, of course. She is told who she's going to be with. Yeah, she has to go to like 800 balls and then she can finally be like, I don't want to be with Lord Blabbington.
Yes.
So during chapter 4, at the very end of it, she passes out because she wants James so bad.
That well, yes, okay. Like her heat cycle, she starts getting really hot
Mm-hmm.
for a reason that is unbeknownst to us.
Correct.
And then passes out because it's like it's he's tweaking.
Yeah.
Which is essentially what Gabby said. But
Yeah.
but like I get it, like that's happened to me before.
Yeah, like okay, so when they first mentioned it, I thought like, you know me, AO3, like I thought it was gonna be like that, and I was very worried. But then obviously it's on the nose, like she gets very hot because she wants to have sex.
Yes.
And so it's called her heat cycle, like she's getting hot. But
Yes.
like it's kind of it was a nice break from the regular heat
Yeah,
cycle that
like
you would think of.
the wolves and shit.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well,
Oh.
technically it's like not wolves, but we're not getting into that. This is not an
Oh.
AO3 course.
Oh, here comes the expert. Here comes the PhD.
Uh, so chapter 5 is like this post meeting where James has become her new he basically replaces Lady Mildew. Chapter 6 is basically just them heading to the ball. And this is the first time, I believe, that we hear the phrase slake your heat. And it's actually just the worst way to say get fucked.
I'd never heard the word slake, I think. Oh, the
Like I didn't
slake is
know.
to quench or satisfy. Okay,
Yeah,
that makes sense, but I don't know. I don't like it.
maybe we're just not old enough.
Yeah, maybe like low key, maybe we're just not what like this is literature and we just can't understand it.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Chapter 7, the ball begins. There's some fat shaming. I can't remember exactly what happens, but I know there's fat shaming.
Yeah, I mean, well, she's thick tea, and people that like that like that's the least desired body type.
Exactly, exactly. And we also find out that he's meant to bathe and dress her like Lady Mildew
Oh
does.
yes, but there is a point where I don't know if he said this aloud or if he's just thinking it, but he's just like, can she not take off her own clothes?
Yeah, and I agreed with him.
Yeah.
Like 100%. Like okay, I understand actually, I understand him helping her out of her dress because if we're talking about Bridgerton era style clothes, like they were hard to get in and out of.
Yeah.
But like taking like he at least had the like momentary thought of she can't do this.
Right. He was low-key God for a second.
He really
Like, oh,
was.
oh, so she's stupid.
That's what he thought. Like, so we're in the ball, we're in the midst of it all.
Of course.
Dr. Seuss over here.
Right.
We meet the loving, wonderful Duke Grabbington.
Yes.
So Duke Grabbington comes up, and him being the lovely gentleman he is, immediately starts talking about her nipples
Yeah.
and her heat and just being a lovely, wonderful gentleman. And it's kind of in the name, Duke Grabbington, that you just kind of know that he's not going to be a good person. Also, I don't know if this is actually a thing or cigarillo is a thing.
I wouldn't know. I like my lungs. Oh, they are.
That was a thing.
They're like the short and narrow cigars. Bruh, I just clocked this. This is actually the stupid. Like, like I'm so stupid. I like cigarettes, like S when something is small in French.
Oh, okay.
So it's like illos are like small, but not as small as et.
Okay. Well, I don't know any French, so
Me neither. I don't even know if that's French. I just made that shit up.
oh my God.
Okay.
After we meet Duke Grabbington, he tries to like dance with Carissa like 700 times, and James is overwhelmed with this need to like protect her. And he like grabs her at one point, and she's like, "You must not touch me so." And he's like, "I'm trying to protect you to show the Duke you are mine." And he like cuts himself off. This is the first day.
No, like also stick like do your job.
Yeah, do your job. Be professional.
Like we need to call HR on him. Like this is crazy.
Exactly. This is harassment.
No, like it's that like where's the I don't know what the fucking board is called. I was about to say HIPAA. That's got nothing to do with it.
As well as being able to do everything, he can also just dance every single dance by just looking at it.
Yeah.
They need him in K-pop bad.
Tomorrow.
Tomorrow. Like he watches the dance and then immediately picks it up so he can dance with Carissa so that way she doesn't have to dance with Duke Grabbington. So Lady Mildew hates James, which I mean, honestly, you know what? Fair enough, because I hate everyone in this book. But she's like, he can't do this job because he has male parts between his legs.
Why does he?
Why does he have male
Like
parts
they made the cyborg. They're like, we're giving him superhuman strength. We're giving him the ability to jump into onto the moon. Like, why are we giving Siri a penis?
No, not even just a regular one. Like we find out later it's like massive.
Yeah, like what the fuck? Why were they so freaked out in that factory?
Exactly. He's undressing her and he takes off her wig because, you know, they're wearing those big powder George
Oh
Washington
yeah.
wigs.
Ugly wig.
Yeah. And he's massaging her head and he like starts moaning while he's massaging her head. And it's very odd because it's like, you're not getting anything out of
Right.
this. We also find out, oh, I don't think we mentioned it in the beginning, but since he's a cyborg, he does have one metal arm.
You know, just in case.
Just in case. And that metal arm has a very special feature that I immediately knew where it was going as soon as we found out about it. His metal arm vibrates. Don't forget about that because we will revisit later. I do have a note that just says him wanting a hashtag big girl.
What is that in reference to?
I don't know because he's
Like, is it
probably
like big girl old? Because she's not that. Big girl smart? Because she's not that.
no,
Big
big
girl
girl,
thick. Now we're
thick,
talking.
thick teat.
Oh, thick.
He's also very woke.
Yeah, he is woke.
He's woke. Like there's this one, like he's trying to explain to her that she has rights. He's like, well, on my home planet, we see women as like these wonderful, beautiful goddesses, and they're just like so powerful and all of this stuff because he's woke.
Right.
And she's like, well, here we're just stupid.
And it's crazy. It's like it's 1885, girl. Wake up.
Exactly. Chapter 11, nothing happens. 12, we actually finally get into the bath. If you thought nether lips was bad, I shall introduce you to nether mouth.
But it's like lips is like that could work. They are lips,
Yeah.
fortunately. But mouth,
Mouth?
like I don't know.
I also have hashtag free the bush. Because obviously with the chastity belt, she can't wipe, she can't shave. What is she to do? I feel like he does make comment on it, but not like in a bad way, like because he's woke. And we also find out that when Lady Mildew was doing the bathing, she would be scrubbed with this metal brush.
No, like the shit you use for those pots that burn on the stove.
She would get scrubbed like that everywhere, like including her nether lips. And so there's this, he doesn't want to touch her there. And he also doesn't grab that brush. He grabs a very soft brush because he's like, it's gonna hurt her. And Lady Mildew makes the comment of, and if it hurts her, so much the better. That'll keep her from trying to reach between her legs like the nasty, dirty girl she is.
And she says nasty dated girl 3 times, like in the next page or two.
Exactly. She also, when he doesn't want to scrub there, she says, "You must get in between her legs. That part is the dirtiest of the all." And I think it's just because she is a stinky, dirty pussy and she was mad.
Right. Right.
Like,
When have we ever seen her scrub? Clock it.
exactly.
That's crazy.
The reason she's doing this is very odd. I mean, obviously, it's very odd regardless, but apparently, there was some sort of instance where Carissa was trying to touch herself when she was 10, and that's why Lady Mildew keeps bringing it up. And I just think it's very odd to keep bringing that up.
No, yeah. I mean I feel like from Madam Anderson's standpoint, I not to assume, but
Hmm.
this is Madam Anderson's Kinktopia. So I was thinking like I can't tell whether this is like people make trauma art.
Yeah.
I couldn't tell whether this was like a trauma book or just genuinely the strangest backstory ever.
Honestly, I'm gonna have to go with the strangest backstory ever.
You think she's just throwing shit at the wall and seeing what's stuck?
Yeah, it's just that's what reading this book felt like. It was just like trying to speak and then just going,
No, yeah. I think by this point I already wanted to quit the book and I had like 50 chapters left.
honestly, I was at that point when we were introduced to James. James proceeds to say some very woke things, obviously. He tells her or he asks her basically, why should any part of your body be forbidden to you? When she tells him about the chastity wire. He comforts her, which isn't very emotionalist to me.
Right, clock it.
Yeah, he also does. I think honestly, James is my favorite character. And that's saying something because I hate everybody. But the only reason he's my favorite character is because he doesn't call it her nether lips or her nether mouth.
Yes, he calls it pussy.
Yeah, like as a real man should.
It's crazy to me that he's so practical because he was like, oh, back on my home country where we like only speak in mathematics and shit. We call it a pussy, like not a vagina. Like I feel like that's the sign that would be more scientific.
Yeah, but like, we had to add all the things in this book. So
I mean,
like
like vagina doesn't turn people on, and Anderson's got to get her money.
exactly. Everything is not well. We find out Duke Abington's her suitor. Rissa is just not happy for good reason. She overheats. She has another bath time and she passes out again. She's not doing well.
He's just like me.
She kind of is.
What?
We finally make it back to the library, which is a scene of the crime, that we never hear about again. Well, actually, we do in the very beginning of this chapter. We hear about the crime very briefly, that she's very scared to go back to the library because of what happened. We know it's an assassination attempt. I don't think we find out, like, what actually happens. We just know that she almost dies. So we meet the librarian, who is obviously named Lord Bookish.
Of course.
And we go to the library and we find all these books that are like all about, well, she tries to find more about the female side of her family. And the librarian, Lord Bookish, is like, no, I think you should read this. And James, being the icon he is, he's like, okay, well, y'all go look for that. And then he finds some stuff about her female ancestors. And because he's super awesome, super smart, just good at everything, he scans the books digitally into his brain and later projects them onto the wall for Rissa.
I need that. like I really need that.
I need that, but it needs to be optional because if I had to remember everything I've ever
That's true.
seen,
They need to give me J9.
J9, chapter 21 is where well, not we, but Rissa finally finds out that sex exists.
And she's
And
like, she's actually gagged. Like this.
very. And she does not believe a minute of what James is saying to her. She's like, "You're a liar. This is not true. I would know because I am a genius and I know everything."
Of course, like the two things she's known for, being very knowledgeable and being very smart. Big T is number three.
And so, but we find out from one of her female ancestors that the way she survived without taking a male suitor after, I believe it's after her husband dies, is she was just masturbating every single day.
I mean, yeah.
Hashtag freaky frog is my note. That is literally my note. And so once she finds this information out and she finally kind of starts to believe James, Lady Mildew actively makes her revert to how she was one chapter ago.
Yeah.
I don't know exactly why I put this note, but I put hashtag real pussy lovers.
What?
The lesson of women are equal and not dirty for wanting pleasure would have hit a lot harder if this book was actually good.
No,
Like,
like that's the thing. It's that's what I mean by it's weirdly philosophical and weirdly feminist at some point.
yeah, and but it's not good.
But also the fact that she's fucking stupid, I kind of feel like negates a lot of that.
Exactly. And then we get into Freaky Frog time. That's what I named the next chapter.
Freaky frog time.
Yes. I don't even want to get into it. In chapter 24, he teaches her how to masturbate, basically. That's the whole chapter. And I'm not even gonna lie, it was kind of good.
I thought like in terms of sexuality, this was laid out pretty well.
No, it was. Like I had to like clap for her a little bit.
Yeah, good job.
My first note on it was, I'm sorry, but her sitting in between his legs is kind of.
Oh, Gabby, they got you.
At this point, she still thinks kissing is gonna get her pregnant, though.
Yeah, so actually, how's she getting their freak on?
Yeah, that's the thing. Is like, should I like? It's this weird like. So as long as he doesn't kiss her, she'll be okay. Like he
I know
can.
a lot of people that live by that rule.
Okay. There's a quote from him. And so she's getting wet, obviously. Like she's turned on, she wants him, right? And she like asks, she's like very confused. She's like, "What is that?" He goes, "Your pussy makes honey." And my note is, "Okay, Bumblebee."
Right? Like Bumblebee kindred.
During the scene, she gets so overwhelmed that like her heat is like getting worse and worse and worse. Like it's taking too long, like she's gonna burn up. And so this finally is when we see the vibrating hand come into action.
Right. Yeah.
He makes do. And then they go again. So yeah, I'm pretty sure that one's like a fade to black, so we don't actually see any more of it. Thank God.
God. Right.
He finally I feel like he kind of brings it back a little bit, but I feel like after that point, he finally gives up this whole I have no emotions act.
Thank God. Like we clocked it 26 chapters ago, brother.
Exactly. We actually figured that out in the author note.
No.
Yeah, so he gives up his whole I have no emotions act and takes on this whole I have to fuck her or she'll die.
I mean, what else is he supposed to do?
Exactly. He also says, "I want to stroke your soft little pussy until your honey comes down for me."
Yeah, I didn't find any of the quotes like arousing, which is like fine, this isn't for me, I guess. This is my utopia. But I
Yeah.
feel like Madam Anderson was just doing her best to make us repulse sometimes.
Yeah, exactly. Like I was drying up, actually.
Yeah.
Now that they've done it once, this is the rest of the book.
Yeah.
Also, so she has no idea what a dick is, but she does know that there is male parts in a man's pants, lovingly known as a one-eyed snake. Like, okay, I get it, sure. I can understand, like, if you're stupid and you don't know. But like it's just ridiculous.
When she's like finding out about it and she wants to see his, just so she could know, just in case to prepare for marriage. Because
Mm-hmm.
obviously that's still gonna happen. I thought she was being a little like, oh, like this is low-key harassment.
A little bit.
Like she was like, please can I see it? Please can I see it? And
Which
like
actually,
totally rational. He's like, I actually don't think that's that good of an idea. Like I'm just trying to slake your heat.
mm-hmm.
I don't really like this is not health class anatomy 101. And she's like, please, like just a sneak peek. And they go back and forth like a few times before quote unquote she asks innocently. And he's like, ugh, what the hell? Like,
Yeah.
what?
Yeah, so after, the 700th time of him, fucking her or whatever. Well, not actually, but they go to this ball and she has to dance with Duke Grabbington whenever he wants to dance because he's her suitor now. And he's like, we're gonna play a game. So I found out that they play this game where they turn all the lights out and you have to find your partner in the dark or something. And he does all of this just to basically as a ploy to get Carissa alone. And then he kisses her with tongue against her will, obviously. He forces himself on her. She is like, oh my God, like I'm now pregnant because he stuck his tongue in her mouth and put his seed in her. She tries to figure out how to have an abortion and she is told by, is it the Australian maid?
No, okay, this is what I wanted to say. She has
Hmm.
this annoying friend named like Ashley or some shit. So then when she's like, I need an abortion, that's when she recalls Ashley was whispering to her during the sleepover, during which I guess neither of them slept, and was like, you need to drink this evil flower that'll kill the baby, and probably you too, but whatever.
So she goes out and she gets these flowers. She's planning to put them in the tea. She's gonna drink this tea and she's gonna have an abortion. And so she's making this, or she asked James, she's like, hey James, I don't even remember what the excuse she used was, but she like asked him to step out for a second. And she's like stuffing these flowers into the teapot and he senses something's off. And he's like, she's acting odd, all this stuff, right? And then he gets this random voice in his head that tells him to stop her. So he breaks the teacup and he's like mad because he's like, why are you trying to kill yourself? What is wrong? Just tell me what is wrong, all this stuff, right? And she's like, I told you I'm not trying to kill myself. And like I'm like, girl, it's poison.
Right.
Like, yes, you unfortunately you're not, but you are. So she basically tells him, she's like, drinking tea with honeybell vines in it is the only way I can get rid of the baby. And the first thought that came to my mind was if it wasn't for the baby from the
No.
Hunger Games.
Yeah.
After this, James is rightfully shocked because he's like, the baby. So he asks her, and I quote, Princess, did he put his shaft inside you?
Okay, why shaft? In this book, it is never penis, it is always shaft.
Always.
Why? There are literally other parts to it, parts that literally go in before the shaft.
And then he like finds out that it was just a kiss, which is still not just a kiss because it was a kiss without consent. But then he kind of just gets unmad. Like he's like, okay, well,
Like, oh, so you're just stupid.
so like he's like, what do you mean? And she explains it to him. She's like, a man kisses a woman on the lips, and when he puts his tongue in her mouth, his seed goes down her throat and gets planted in her belly, which is just ridiculous. But then he says, I was grown in a tank, but even I know you can't get pregnant just from kissing.
But why would like Loki? He was sassy with that.
Literally, I was like, okay, he got a giggle out of me.
Like I was born in a tank, bitch. Like that's crazy.
Like, and then somebody's inner monologue, probably his, he's like, but he had no emotions for her. Or did he? Like, okay,
All right.
here we go again. And this is where we get into the entirety of like, she doesn't believe him that like the dick is where the seed comes from. And so she's like, prove it. He's like, no, like it's a bad idea. And then she's like, no, please. And he's like, no, it's a bad idea. And then finally he's like, oh, this is such a bad idea, but I guess we're gonna do it anyway. And I said, girl, this is not a good idea.
Right.
Also, he's just not wearing any underwear.
Wait, I didn't even notice that.
No, he's just not wearing any underwear. She goes, it's so big. Can I touch it? And then goes, oh, it's growing. It's moving
No,
by itself.
no.
I think I lost 25 years off my life.
Dang it, you didn't have that many more.
Okay, because I'm old yet. Yeah,
Yeah,
we get
Gabby's
it.
old if y'all didn't know, like old as shit. It's crazy.
Yeah, I'm actually older than the author. And then she goes, she goes, I still don't see how something in the side could fit into my pussy.
Ugh.
Just huge. And he goes, and he got a laugh out of me again. He goes, that shouldn't worry you because my shaft is never going anywhere near your soft little pussy. As if he needed anything else to make him special and unique. He has genetically enhanced pre-cum.
Yeah.
Yeah, so basically, his pre-cum is not like anybody else's. He's not like other girls.
Yeah,
He's
he's not like
different.
other chefs.
Can't even explain it. So basically it like magically enlarges, well, not enlarges, but like opens the vagina. So like it like he fits perfectly.
It's like Kylie Lip Plumper for
Oh
women.
my God.
Madam Anderson is saying this like it's like crazy technology is in the Kardashian house right now.
Exactly. But at one point she's just like, but I bet it's not as soft and warm as my pussy would be. Like, okay, you just found out you had one of those 3 days ago.
Right.
After this scene, they're both still naked. Is she naked or is she just like half naked? I don't know.
I don't know.
They're both
I wasn't keeping track of the nakedness. Carissa is like, I wouldn't want to have sex with anyone but you. And James is
hmm
like, is she saying that she loves me? Like, no, are you fucking stupid? That's not what that means.
Like those are not the same thing.
Right.
Duke Grabbington. I put Duke Grabbington literally sounds like that fake ferryman from that one TikTok.
I don't know what you're talking about.
The one you sent it to me. It was like that listening
Oh,
to fairy porn or
oh
whatever.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
And she's like, it's kind of like if you put your coochie on an air conditioning unit.
Yeah.
That video is actually the funniest thing I've ever seen. I have it saved to my phone.
That's what
Like
we're reading right now.
that was literally what we were reading. Like he was like, "Come here, my love." Like it literally was like that. Also James has fangs.
Oh yes. And he like grows them.
Oh my God, and the fangs get worse over time and we'll get there. So James is very scary with his fangs, and Duke Grabbington starts begging. And I was like, "Kill him, James." Then Duke Grabbington pisses himself.
Wait, does he actually?
He does.
Oh, oh. It really is Kinktopia. Like this is crazy.
Yeah, like water sports and everything. Like,
Right.
so James is about to kill him, and Duke Grabbington is like, "You can't kill me. This is not how men here fight. We duel."
This is like if I were James, I wouldn't give a fuck.
Same,
Like
but
I'm not even a
also
citizen.
exactly, like I don't live here.
I'm an immigrant, so it doesn't even matter what I do.
And so they agree to a duel, which is very Bridgerton season one because that does happen.
Mm.
James is talking about his like lineage or whatever. He's like blood kindred and beast kindred. I was really hoping they would all just die in this field and the book would be over. Also, they pull up in a car.
Yeah, okay, so like yeah, he Duke Gravington pulls up in a sedan, and I'm like, I thought it was like 1826 whole time in 2004.
Exactly. Like,
Like, so you're telling me
sure.
Carissa could have Wikipedia'd all this?
She's drinking poison tea when she could have just had a plan B.
No, right? Like Planned Parenthood is literally next door to the castle.
Literally. Like,
It's all
okay.
Ashley's fault, bro.
Exactly. And so in a duel, you have to have a second, which I don't know exactly why. I guess somebody to shoot after you're dead. I don't know. But the second is named Lord Flobberton.
There's also in chapter 26 a Lord Buttheadington.
There is not.
There is.
Is there really?
Why did I write it down?
Did I miss that? But then they're like, James, you have to shoot with your left hand because your metal arm is going to help you shoot better somehow. But that doesn't matter because he's ambidextrous.
Of course. I mean, why not?
He's like, it's fine because I can shoot just as well with my left hand because I was made in a tank.
Yeah.
Also, we never find out how tall James is, but it's brought up again in this chapter. And at this point, he's like, gotta be like 7'4".
Yeah, like the Warriors need him.
Exactly. So they start doing the 10 paces back or whatever. You know, you have to turn around, do the 10 paces, and then once you get to your 10 paces, you turn around and shoot. Well, Duke Grabbington just turns around and shoots James in the back.
Yeah.
And then he's like, I thought you had said 10. No other number between 1 and 10 sounds like 10. But okay, sure. I thought Duke Grabbington died in the scene. I literally put, he killed him. Not a,
Finally, thank you, God.
I was so happy, but then he was alive. So he was
Everyone's alive. Like, because he shoots James first, and they think James about to die.
exactly,
The thing about James though is that I really can't believe that they thought James was about to die. Like,
exactly.
James is not a human being, bro. Like, if you shot your washing machine, would it work? Maybe not perfectly, but you can still get a cycle in. Like, it's the same thing.
Yeah, so we find out Duke Grabbington was cheating, obviously. Not only did he shoot early, he he came fast, but like He was also wearing body armor. And so when James goes to shoot him and kill him,
Right.
it ricochets off of Duke Gravington and hits poor Lord Flobberton.
Sorry.
A bunch of people show up out of nowhere, and then all these people are like murmuring, stuff happens. She drags him out to the forest and starts kissing him, and then
Oh
guess who
yeah.
shows up?
Ugh,
Fuck
nasty,
ass
dirty,
Lady Mildew.
stinky, dirty pussy, Lady Mildew.
Exactly. She shows up because, of course, she does. Oh my God, I can't believe we forgot that James broke the chastity belt.
Oh yeah, earlier we just like fucking breaks it, no? Like
Yeah, he like so she's like about to die. Like her heat is so bad, but she needs to get in the bath. But then Lady Mildew is like no, or she's like either nowhere to be found or something. So he like breaks it with his metal arm because he's indestructible and awesome and cool or whatever.
exactly.
And so then she gets a new chastity belt when Lady Tittle, Lady Mildew finds out that it was broken. At one point she goes, "You do not own yourself, girl. You're only waiting until you find a husband. He will own you. Kill yourself
No, like
today."
it was actually scary.
It was. Also this new chastity belt, the first one was bad. Okay, so the first one was like it like had electric shock, all this stuff, right? The second one is so much worse.
The second one is when I was like, this is definitely a kink. Like I knew it was a kink the whole time.
Yeah.
Second one is when I'm like, we might need to lock up this woman.
Yeah, so basically it's two parts. One part is like a plug with blades on it, and then another part is like a basically like a cover that goes over her nether lips
Hmm.
and has spikes in it. Lady Mildew is so fucking nasty. Like this shit is unbelievable.
No, like it's
And it
actually like
is
it was uncomfortable to listen to.
insane. Like first of all, how did she even come up with this shit?
Even the way that it's like Carissa talks about it, quote, it's so deep inside me, so deep and big.
Yeah.
Like, oh,
What audience is this for?
no, like whose Kinktopia is this really?
Also, at this point, there's still 2 hours left in this book. So Lady Mildew brings the new chastity belt. She brings the new chastity belt in. They go see the steward, and she snitches like nobody's ever snitched before. And the steward is like, "Okay, well, that's fine. We can send James home because your assassin has been caught." But like we never expand on that. Like I still don't understand why it was a thing.
Me neither.
Like it's so like there's so many things in this book that just never get wrapped up. Obviously, this book isn't like the best thing to ever come out of literature, but it's still annoying that we just have all of these things unanswered. Like, tell me what happens.
You're fiending. This is crazy.
First of all, the whole reason I'm reading these books is because I'm nosy.
That's true.
And if you're gonna leave me with questions and not answer them, because is the thing about the series is that they're all basically standalones.
Hmm.
So we never see these characters again. Unless there's like some novella spinoff that I don't know about, which is possible. I'm not gonna read it though. Well, maybe. Um, so James finds out that Carissa's to be married, and we find out that once she's rejected three suitors, she's no longer allowed to reject another one,
Oh, and
which is
just for clarification, Duke Gravington has been like excommunicated now.
yes, he's
Okay.
gone. We're free from Duke Gravington. We meet the new suitor, and he's actually okay. Like he's trying to actually talk to her. His name is Duke Shamington, which is kind of telling.
But hey, man, he's good looking. He can speak.
He can speak.
Yeah.
Exactly. He's very respectful, but he is dancing with her a lot too. Like he won't let anybody else dance with her. They're to be married like 2 days after meeting or something.
Hmm.
James still hasn't left because he refuses to leave until she's actually married. But Lady Mildew takes it upon herself to talk with him. She gets into his head that like, which I don't even know how he lets her get into his head because like this whole time she's been crazy and evil.
No, right. Also, like his head is made out of titanium.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, like she's like you won't even be good for her. Like let her have this. She needs somebody who can actually be with her. You're not even a man, you're a robot. Like you don't even know what it is to feel, blah 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 blah. And then he agrees with her for some reason. After this ball, Rissa's still in love with him. She still wants him bad. He still wants her, but he's like Lady Mildew was right, which has never been the case ever in her life. He tells Rissa, he's like, I'm leaving. There's nothing for us. Like, you need to marry and I need to go home. And she's like, I love you. She like confesses her love for him. And he's like, I'm afraid your emotion is one I cannot share or reciprocate. And at that point, James needed to kill himself. Like, nobody has ever needed to kill themselves ever. Like, it was, I was actually so mad for Carissa because, like, at the end of the day, no matter how bad these books are, I actually do, like, kind of feel bad for the characters sometimes.
That's okay. That means you have empathy.
On her wedding day, Lady Mildew enhances the chastity belt with an even bigger plug. It's so weird.
It's just it is very weird. Like it was so weird that I started like dissociating sometimes while listening.
Yeah, it was just like, what else can you put this poor girl through? I'm gonna make her stupid. I'm gonna make her have a horrible upbringing. Her parents are dead. After that, James goes home. He then has like a breakdown. He tells the like commander or whatever, he's like, I failed my mission. And the commander's like, she's literally alive and breathing and fine. And he's like, no, I failed my mission. You chose me because I have no emotions. I failed because I love her. So the commander's like, you should go back. Like you should go back. You should be with her. And or wait, no, actually, that's not what happens. Hold on.
The way I believed you.
Scratch that. Reverse it. James is like, I'm gonna go get my emotion damper fixed. And or he's not gonna go get it fixed. Jesus Christ. Okay. James is like, I'm not gonna get my emotion damper fixed. And the commander's like, why not? Like, you're in pain. Like, if it would end your pain, why not do it? And he's like, because Carissa doesn't have that option. I started this pain that both of us share. Shouldn't I feel it as deeply as she does? And it's just like, okay.
I hate that line of thinking so much.
I do
I
too.
know people in like real life that think like that, where it's like they think that themselves suffering is equal can pay out someone else's suffering, and it's like, well, now I'm
Exactly.
just pissed because now we're both suffering. Like, stop being
Exactly.
so obsessed with yourself.
Yeah. And in his mind, he's like, but it hadn't been just lust between them. Although he loved to stroke and hold her lush, full body against his own, he had loved her soul as well. And I just don't believe that's true.
Well,
I don't
because
think
there's
they had
nothing
enough.
there.
Yeah, they didn't even have enough conversations for them to be in love. Mind you, they had enough time in this book because at this point, we probably still have an hour left. Like they
Yeah.
definitely had enough time to have a convincing emotional relationship, but that's not what happened. The next chapter, I made the side note of James finds God question mark.
Oh, wait, I have religious awakening question mark.
So James actually considers committing suicide.
Yeah, I
Um
have shooting himself crying emoji.
so he considers like killing himself and he finds himself in this temple thing. And I was like, why are we getting religious all of a sudden? But I was like, okay, whatever. What else can this book throw at me, right? And then this priestess lady comes out and she's like, okay, so you're feeling this way, blah, 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 blah. And then all of a sudden she's overtaken by this goddess. But the goddess is actually the voice that James had heard in his head when Carissa was trying to poison herself. She's seen everything.
And she didn't even do anything. That's crazy.
No, exactly.
James got shot and you didn't say a damn thing.
Exactly. Like she was ready to be in his head when Carissa was about to poison herself, but when he got shot in the back,
She said,
silence. So this book is getting ridiculously long. And we're just now on the wedding night. Lord Shamington is like, you're so sensual and virginal at the same time. She's like, well, let's get this over with, whatever, right? Like slake my heat, right? And
"Oh,
he's
let's like my hate."
like, come on, I guess. And so he's like not letting her take off his wig, which is very odd. But like I was like, he's probably just bald.
Kirsta has like luscious curly hair, and because she's been insecure about it, because curly hair is something to be insecure about, of course. And there's a
Hmm.
point in the book where she like stops wearing her wigs.
Yes.
And Lady Tittletail was like, "Oh my gosh, Lady Krista has stopped wearing her wigs, and now everybody's trying to wear the natural hair." So I was like, maybe he's just not down with the movement.
Yeah, but in fact, It's a magic wig.
Yeah.
Guess who's under the wig?
Who?
Duke Gravington. So we once again meet him, unfortunately. He's like, "Oh, you thought I married you so I could fuck you? I wanted power and prestige. Why should I share them with a mouthy little bitch like you?"
Yeah, he was getting really aggressive. Like even for the standards of
Exactly.
this book, it was like, oh,
So Lady Mildew had given Lord Shamington the key to the chastity belt, and Duke Grabbington throws it in the fire. So Carissa is unable to get it off. And if she's unable to get it off, she can't slake her heat and she will burn up and die. And this is all part of Duke Grabbington's plan. In his mind, he's thinking, oh, well, I can just tell everybody that Lady Mildew didn't give me the key. If Carissa has to die for Lady Mildew to meet her demise, I think it's worth it. Like, I was ready to sacrifice her.
that was for the greater good.
Exactly.
Quote, she disliked Lady Mildew but didn't wish her dead. Like, why not? I do.
Exactly. And like, so she's like panicking. She somehow makes it out of there, and I can't remember how. And then she somehow finds a way to call the Kindred Mothership, which is where James is. And basically, all that happens is he talks to Carissa, and then James shows up, and he's like, "Oh my God!" He like falls to his knees. It's dramatic, all this shit. James is like, "I need a ship now. I need to get there now." Actually, it's like a portal in time. No,
It is? That's news to me.
I don't know. But he shows up and they're having like all these declarations of love. And she's about to burn up and die. But they're like laying in the grass, taking their sweet time. They finally get on the ship and she just starts going over the details of what's happened. Like that does not matter right now. Y'all need to have sex.
No,
Like
right.
that's literally all that needs to happen right now. At one point I just said put her in the freezer.
There's this part where he doesn't want to take her to the doctor
Yeah,
because he's like, the thought of someone else touching her is he's like, no, like only I can touch her.
exactly.
Hello? Dude Gravington should have shot and killed you, bro. Like this is crazy.
Yeah, so he breaks the chastity belt and he says in his like inner monologue, he goes, he wondered how in the world it had been put in her soft virginal pussy in the first place. Like, oh, but finally they get the chastity belt off. And guess what? The fangs from earlier,
Oh my gosh, I remember this.
they exude a healing liquid. And so what he does is he eats her out.
Yeah, and it's like, but I'm like, he couldn't have spit in a jar or something and like had her apply it.
No.
Sorry, it's just just had an
I
idea.
said,
But
out of everything in this book, I think this is the silliest. It's like two chapters of that, basically, but it's not enough for her. He's like, well, we have to fuck. How they decide to do this is kind of crazy. So basically, she gets on top. I feel like it's kind of crazy for first time,
no, it is.
but it's fine because he has magical pre-com.
Oh yeah, it's okay. Never mind.
Yeah,
It's not that crazy, then
exactly.
I take it back.
But the worst part, I think, remember how we were talking about heat cycles and mates?
Yes.
And I was like, well, this is an AO3.
Yeah.
It kind of is.
Oh.
He knots in her.
Oh.
Yeah. But after everything's said and done, they have now formed a mental link so that they can speak to each other without even opening their mouths.
Which like, yeah, he could just fucking do that.
Yeah,
I mean, well,
because
like
he's
duh, like he has perfect pitch. Why not?
yeah, exactly, because he's part blood kindred, part beast kindred, part lizard kindred.
Part Mozart kindred.
Exactly. And then they proceed to go for hours and hours, apparently. So he's found God.
And lost him in like the same lost her, sorry, in the same hour.
Exactly. Duke Grabbington's first decision in as his role as king, which he doesn't they don't know it's Duke Grabbington still, but
Yeah, he put the
his
wig back on.
he told them that she was dead by getting up some ashes out of the fireplace and putting it on the ground. His first demand is that they raise taxes and then take away women's rights. So Carissa gets up there and like knocks his wig off, and she's like, look, everyone. And he goes, she lies. She's a liar. Like, girl, they can literally see you.
Right, we have eyes.
Like, once Duke Grabbington meets his demise, I don't even think he dies. And then they start chanting, long live Queen Carissa the Wise, which she's never once been
Wise.
wise. Yeah, she's never once been wise. And I think it's the last line is, after all, she knew she and James would have never gotten together if she hadn't been Burning for Love.
Wow. I guess props to Anderson for, doing that callback. I know you love a good callback, Gabby.
I do. It didn't make me happy in this version because I hated this book so bad, but I do love a good callback. Yeah, but that's how the book ends. We never find out who Lady Tittle is. We never find out who tried to assassinate her. I don't know what happened to the steward. Lady Mildew lives, and nobody's life was better because they read this book.
What would you rate this book, Gabby?
I would give it 0.25 chastity belts out of 5.
Only point two, even with the really big one.
Yeah.
Mm,
Yeah. What
I
would
would
you
give
rate it?
it. I would give it like one kindred type out of five. Maybe beast kindred if I had to choose.
Not the lizard?
It wasn't explained correctly for me.
True,
I
fair
don't think
enough.
she used it to its full potential.
One is very generous.
Point five beast kindreds out of five.
0.5 beast kindreds. And to prove that we're not actually just haters of everything that's ever been put out in the literature world, we decided we wanted to review some of the books, or some books that we did like enjoy. We did give 4 beast kindreds out of 5.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Okay. So my book, I read it in December, is When You Become a Body by Michelle von Eschen. This book is so indie that I couldn't even buy it. I was like, oh,
Oh.
this is good. I'm gonna buy it. I couldn't. I could buy an ebook for like 60 cents. And I considered emailing. I think I'm gonna tweet or email the author and be like, I'll pay like $40 for you to put this back and publish like hardcover one time and send it to me. But the premise, Stella's husband dies one morning, and a mechanical blue box that knows her name suddenly appears at her door. And like a lot of books I was reading last year, it's an exploration on death and capitalism. My two topics of the year, I would say 2023 it was motherhood and cannibalism, and 2024 was death and capitalism. And it has the spirit of an early Dark Mirror episode. I don't want to say that it's exactly like an early Black Mirror episode because they are a little more technical than this one was. This was a little more upbeat and speculative, but it's so funny, dark, but also beautifully written. The concept is just amazing. Like it's about basically the bureaucracy of death packaged in this kind of like corporate sci-fi way. I was like obsessed with it from start to finish. I need a graphic novel of it. I need an animated short on Adult Swim. I need a feature film like released by A24. Like I will recommend this book to anybody anywhere. Like I don't care if you can't read, learn. So you can read this.
Hey,
My only
audiobooks.
What do you say?
Audiobooks.
Yeah, but the thing is, this is so indie, it doesn't even have an audiobook. But yeah, it's so beautiful. Thank you for actually, I'm so glad we did this because now I remember to email the author. Trigger warning grief, obviously, it's about death. And very light gore, it's not that light. Like it's like gouging eyes out, but it's not crazy. What about
The,
you, Gabby?
the book that I would like to recommend and also loved, I actually ended up reading last year. It's A Lady for a Duke by Alexis Hall. The premise is when Viola Carroll was presumed dead at Waterloo, she took the opportunity to live at last as herself. But freedom does not come without a price, and Viola paid for hers with the loss of her wealth, her title, and her closest companion, Justin, the Duke of Gracewood. It's a historical romance, and the way the characters are written, they do end up reconnecting it very early on in the book, and seeing them have to like refigure out how to like be them is just it's so good. And as Viola was presumed dead, like Justin has to like cope with being like she's alive, like she's here in front of me. And there is like some feelings there, both like obviously friendly and romantic that he also has to cope with. And it's just, it's so good. My only thing that I will say is that it is kind of long. It's like 460 pages, but I think everything about them was handled so beautifully. Like they both had their individual struggles. Viola being a trans woman and Justin being disabled from the war, and it was written so beautifully, and just like everything was handled so well. I will say, like, the last 15% of the book and like the secondary plot line was kind of unnecessary, It didn't ruin the book as a whole for me, obviously, because I still would highly recommend it to a lot of people. But it just kind of like it didn't really need to happen. But yeah, if you're looking for a historical romance with a trans love interest, I will recommend this to everyone. I will say content warnings for ableism, addiction, dead naming, panic attacks, sexual content, violence, vomit, kidnapping, and war. Um,
Damn, it's like
but
nobody can read that book.
it's really good.
Well, thank you so much for joining us on this episode of Worst of the Worst. If you like this episode, make sure to follow us on Instagram, TikTok, Storygraph, Goodreads, Fuck It, Substack, which are all linked in our podcast description, and we'll see you next time.
Please enjoy this never before heard audio of James singing Linger by the Cranberries. And I miss